episode of the Better Two podcast is brought to you by Kitty Mystic and DM Needham, author of My Days with the Dark Muse, as well as Love is Worth Waiting For. Hi, gang. Donna here. Thanks for tuning into the Better Two podcast. This week's guest is a friend of the show, CerVon Campbell, and we did talk about music for a bit. We talk about some of his latest songs he's got out and the problems he's had with working with collaboration sometimes, and how the creative process, well, we both agree on that, isn't always so easy. We also talk about Marvel movies and comics and the Supreme Court decision that just happened now, though by the time you listen to this, it'll be a few months. But we talk about a lot of different things. So stay tuned. Hi, CerVon. How are you doing? And welcome back.
I'm good. Thank you for having me back. I'm happy to be here.
I'm happy to have you back. And we've been trying. Last time CerVon was on the show was back in December, and we've tried several times, and scheduling has just not been our friend, and other things, life happening. And yeah. So anything new and exciting going
on? I got all new studio stuff. I'm finna to try and do music a different way than I've been doing it. So I think that's like my main new thing.
And you released 4 singles?
Yeah, this year I put out a bunch of stuff, and now I'm working on continuing that stuff. I feel like I'm at a point now with music. I'm a chicken with my head cut off. Like I have no idea what to do next.
You know, and I forgot to turn my phone off because I don't want anybody calling and interrupting us, so I apologize. You're not a chicken with your head cut off. I mean, that's the thing. Inspiration comes at you, and sometimes it's like, wow, this would be really cool, but what about this? But we could try this, but we could do this.
It's like I have the sound of stuff in my head. I just can't get it out. And when I try to work with other people with finding music and getting the instruments and everything together, I am just struggling. The song that I wanted to release next, I am working with so many different people trying to figure out what the music is going to be. And we can't get there. We're not agreeing on it.
I get it. I mean, as a writer, I wrote 2 short stories back in 2010 because there was this contest. So the first one I wrote, knocked it out of the park. The second one, I had this whole envision of what I wanted the story to be like. I had it all in my head, how it was going to play out. And when it was all said and done, it didn't turn out the way I wanted it to. Mm-hmm. So I completely get it. You have this creative vision of this is how this needs to be. And unfortunately, especially when you're working with other people, they don't always see it or hear it.
And sometimes sometimes it comes out and it works really well, and it has multiple times. Like with D&D with John, that was nowhere, like the way the song came out was not what my original demo was. When I originally cut the song, it was nothing like that. And working with him, it came out to a sound that worked, and it came out really well, but it's completely different. And it's like an acceptable change. Now with this new song, it's not a new song necessarily. I've put it out before, but the first time I put it out, that's when I was first getting started. I didn't know what I was doing, and I didn't have the full license for the music and all this other stuff. Now where I can do it from kind of a more professional view, the song has a lot of like meaning to me. I want to recreate all that, but with all these moving pieces, I just cannot get it how I want it to be.
I get it. And when you first put it out, the whole thing is it's your first time, so you don't know all the ins and outs. I just redid my first book, and this is the 4th time that I've redone this book. As far as I had a professional, I did it all myself the first time. The second time I had somebody else come in and tweak it a little bit. Third time I paid a professional editor, and then I reread it, and it's like, well, wait, that's not right. So then I had to go back and do it again. And it's like, you learn each time, and it becomes a better product. So don't be so hard.
That makes so much sense, because the first time I put it out, it was like, it's a love song basically. And the way I was at that time, I was like, that was my emo stage. I was kind of timid. The song was timid, and it was just a really meek love song. And now I'm not there. I'm not like, fighting depression. I'm not shy about this stuff. And I'm talking about in the song. So it's like I want a more broad, like a more like not, I don't want to say in your face, but just a more direct like tone to it. I want it to be more creative than it was. And I just can't get that. And working with a lot of people, it's like their styles conflict. And like me, I'm not like a heavy auto-tune person. Some songs come out that way, but I don't want that robotic stuff. And this one, everybody's pushing it to be like, hey, let's like make these vocals extra robotic and let's do this. So it's a fight all the way around. I've come a long way, and I want my music to reflect that in a lot of ways. So
You
I
want your
fully agree with you.
you want your true passion to show.
Yeah, like I really love this song. I love the words of it. It's like such a simple song, and all the words are really simple. All the metaphors, everything is simple about it, but that's not how I want it presented, if that makes sense.
It does. It does. It totally makes sense. I mean, going back to that book, it's like after rereading it, and then in the editing process, again, I'm sitting there going, well, wait a second. This scene doesn't tie in together. He says one thing and this is not even explained. How in the world? So I had to go back and put a new paragraph in to explain what was there. Even though the book's been out for 2 years, I felt the need. It's like, this has to be rectified. And that's the artist. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I cut you off.
No,
I got too excited.
It's okay.
I feel like I have a hard time collaborating with the writing part of stuff, because like with your story, my mindset is you don't know these characters the way I do. You don't have the journey planned out for them. Because even if you write a book or a story, like even in my stories, just because like say, this story takes place from this time, this person is 20 and to their journey to them becoming 25, like that span of time, you still have an idea of like what their childhood was like, what their future is going to be like. And they don't always see that. So even with this song, I got really upset with one of the producers today because he was like, I think this fits better because of the words. And I wanted to say so bad, but I knew this would be so like cringy and weird. But it was just like, you don't know what these words mean. You're not here.
Well, that's the thing. That's a couple of things, to unpack this a little bit. It's like each song in a way is its own story. And you are the creator of that story. And most of the time musicians, if you're singing your own stuff, this is part of your journey and you're being honest and you're putting your soul out there and you're bearing it, and having somebody else go, well, I think it should be this way. It's like, if that's not meeting your passion, it gets to be it gets to be troublesome at times, because there's a certain amount of control you have to release, but then again, you don't want to go against your vision either.
Yeah, and that's where we are. I'm fighting. I'm holding off with everybody because it's just not where I want it to be. And if I end up not able to put it out or anything, I think that's just how it's gonna be. That's why I think I've been on a long break right now without putting out any music. I don't know how long it's been. It just feels like a long time.
You've had 4 songs out this year. I mean, that's we're in the 6th month, getting ready to go to the 7th month. So you've missed 2 months. That's not that bad. Yeah. But yeah. I mean, I know how the music industry works now as far as the younger artists. It's kind of like, okay, a song a month, get to it.
It's not even that for me, because like those 4 songs came out together really. Like I think one came out like 4 days before the other, and one was like a month after the other. Like they were all like really close together. And it wasn't even just those, because I re-put out my like a demo tape. And this songs that was up, but I kind of like redid it. So like I've had them out this year too. So like I just was constantly working. I think it just feels different on my side, because when I go to the studio, like me recording those songs, I put out 4 songs, but in those I recorded probably like 30 songs. And they didn't get to there. I feel like when I make music, or even when I hear other people's music, there's songs that go on the album and there's songs that go out as singles. And I don't have any more that I feel like this is a single song.
Do you know, back in the day, I'll age myself, there's a couple of my favorite bands that I actually have bootlegs of their studio stuff, that wasn't supposed to get out to the general public, but yet CDs came out. Now, I doubt the band ever saw anything from it, but most everybody knows these songs, and if they're not quality, they are raw. And sometimes, even if you don't think it's right, maybe somebody listens to one of those songs that's out of those 30 and really loves it. You don't know.
Yeah, yeah. And
Sometimes we get
that's
to be
one thing.
our
I'm glad I'm not that famous to have people stealing my demos, because I have so many demos. I look back and I'm like, I felt like I had to experiment. I had to try it. Lesson learned. I'm not going back there.
well.
I
I mean,
spent
go ahead.
I spent like 3, maybe 4 months on one song, editing. I can't get these words out. Working on it, getting the music for it, changing music, adding music, getting like I got a trumpet player. I got all these different people to come help me out. Every day working on this song 4 months. And it just like kept missing something. And then once I was like, okay, I think it's done. Me and my girlfriend, we looked at each other and we were just like, it's about a 5. It's not good.
But see, this is the thing. Now you had somebody else tell you, your girlfriend. But here's the thing. Sometimes we as creators are our own worst critic. Mm-hmm. We want this perfection, the idea of perfection, and perfection does not exist.
When I make a song, and this sounds so corny, I know, but when I make a song, I imagine how I'm gonna perform it and how somebody would be listening to it. So making Sarah Lynn to me, I like to make songs that I feel like I'm a float to. So it's just like when I hear Sarah Lynn, that's my relaxed music, and I just feel like floating, and me imagining performing it is, I would say, like me on a microphone, people playing real instruments like a grand piano, just like on a really grand scheme of like a Broadway, because I made the song in a theatrical way, like it's a Broadway song in my eyes. Mm-hmm. So that's how I see it done. Like, you know, those old shows where like you're in a white blazer, like the tuxedo, mm-hmm. and you know, you have the girl, because I had a girl in there originally sitting on the piano and I'm playing it. I have like all these imaginations of it. And then songs like Kickback, where I imagine somebody listening to it, I imagine them maybe not even fully paying it no attention, but just driving, you know, summer, it's playing in the background, they're talking, they're on a road trip. I imagine these things for it. So when I make music, I try to emphasize these little bitty things in the background, so they enhance these moments or enhance this. So with the song, we couldn't even come up with a name for it. It was either You Mine or 4th of July. And it was just like a whatever song. That's what I call it when it's just like a dance song. It's whatever. It wasn't no meaning behind it. I put trumpets, put all this stuff, just kept feeling like it was missing something. And it was like, I can't imagine me actually performing this. I can't imagine what to do listening to this. Like, I wouldn't play this at a club, but like, I don't want to perform. Like, so it's just like, it comes out empty. So then it's like, well, we're putting this to the side. And then I had a song Boring. It's just, they just don't pan out.
There's a disconnect there with the song. That's what it is. I mean, I don't want to say you're manifesting, but in a way you're manifesting if you're visualizing what you're seeing, how it's going to be performed. This is a long-term vision that you're having, that you're hoping to achieve. So therefore it's like, when I had Merchant on the show for the second time, he was releasing his album. So I took liberty. I asked him, of course, and I said, hey, can I take the 3 songs that we're going to play, since instead of just showing the same picture over, can I go ahead and make a music video? I have never done that in my life. He's like, yeah, go ahead. So I made 3 music videos, and it was my interpretation close enough to his lyrics. I doubt it was what his vision was. But that's the thing about music. Even as a writer, I have playlists that I write to, and they create a scene for me. They create something for me. So you, the artist, wants to create something how it's enjoyed, but yet as a creative, somebody that's listening to it, they create their own world with it.
And I love when people tell me their interpretation of songs, because I think the one I get the most is, I have a song, Love Bug. And I've heard so many people tell me what they think it's about. And it's never what I'm like, what I wrote it about, but you know, their takes from it are always interesting, and I love getting them. It's just the difference of when I'm making it, I don't want, like, that sounds bad, I don't want somebody's input, like, hey, I get this from this, it should sound like this. I don't want that then, you get, I don't want that until after it's done, and then you can tell it, if that makes sense. I'm trying to,
No, it makes sense.
I want my vision when I record it.
You don't want too many cooks in the kitchen.
Exactly.
You want this to be a pure thing. I mean, sure, you can bring people in to try to create your vision, but you don't want too many cooks in the kitchen taking over.
Yeah, I have like that's my main thing, why I refuse to like really market my SoundCloud, is because if I tell somebody listen to my SoundCloud, they used to always have this preconceived like mindset of like what I'm gonna sound like, oh, he's a SoundCloud rapper. He's probably like, they think of Lil Pump and all these people. And I didn't like that stigma. I didn't like people thinking of me that way. So I make every song for like a single song. Like if you're gonna introduce, if I'm introducing my music to you and you're gonna get like, who is this person? I want every song to kind of be a takeaway of like, who, like, show me as a person. So like that's why I'm really honest in a lot of songs. D&D, Broken People, I talk about my problems and stuff, but also like, there's a ton of jokes in my music if you listen out for it. So like I try to really show my character in them. So working on the song I'm struggling with now, it's called Shalom. Struggling with it, everybody's giving me their thoughts on it and stuff like that, and it's just like, that's not me.
Yeah.
So like I don't want that. Like don't make a club anthem, because I'm not going to be at the club, so don't have me like my music in the club.
And your music has to represent where you want to be, where you want it to go. Where do you see it going? After all, you're a Sex Monkey limo driver.
And that's the only thing holding me back, because when I tell you where I imagine going, I have been I can't make this sound any better, but I feel like this is one thing that we as a people have to get past. I imagine doing white people stuff with some of my songs. So I have been with John Oates. So I imagine like, I have to make songs that I can play for a certain type of crowd, a white crowd. Because if he's out here with Carrie Underwood and all these people, I can't show up with like a ludicrous song. It's going to be ludicrous. That's not, I have to have a difference, but I also have to be able to make crowd music. I made the mistake of like, when I started my tour, the first stop that I was asked to do, I was opening for somebody. I got there thinking like, they told me, hey, I love Sarah Lynn. I love this song. I have a rock song, Cedar Falls. I get there, I'm ready to do that. And it's like all black room. I was terrified. I was like, oh man, they set me up to fail. So I was like quick trying to switch out my songs and stuff. Like, oh, I got to play Risk. I got to play Simple. I got to play a little more. I got to play all of my rap songs and stuff. So like, it sounds bad, because even in my head, it sounds bad. It's a little racist, but at the same time, when I got there and I messed up and I played D&D and I did Broken People, I had a good reaction. It's just having a good mix and also knowing where you are, because I want to play Grand Ole Opry. I want to play, SNL in places. So I know like what kind of music I can get away with there.
Well, the thing is, this is what you truly want to be. Let's take the race out of it. It's, you want to be a crossover artist. You want to be accepted by everybody. That's clearly what it is. And I'm going to say something really bad, because I've been watching Empire again, which is just bad. But
no. I will ride for Empire for the first 2 seasons.
Okay.
Anything after that, I will not.
It got really far-fetched. It got really far. Yeah. But when you look at Jamal, we're not going to go by his real name because he's such a controversial person and got in trouble just this week going to the BET Awards, but that's a whole nother subject.
Oh, I have to look into that. I didn't know that. Okay.
Apparently he got roasted because he showed up.
I give him props for showing up.
I do too. I mean, what the whole fact of the matter though is, you expect soul from him. You expect soul from that character. You expected his music to be soulful. Where Hakeem, you expected the rap, but blended together, they worked. And I think what you have now is, you can be more accepted no matter what by either side, because there are soulful artists that can play a big room and play a big audience wherever they are. Look at Little Nas. Did you really think that he would? Come on. He's got some controversy behind him, but yet he's pretty popular all across the board.
I do not believe. Well, I can't. Him and Drake, I feel like have some kind of spell on music because they can't really just make a bad song. They can play anywhere. It's like it's some kind of weird voodoo there. Because like I don't know if you listen to Drake. Drake just put out an album. The first time I heard it, I was like, "What is this? This is trash. I hate this. What is Drake doing? Why is he experimenting?" A couple of days later, I am bumping that entire album. And I'm embarrassed that I play it because I was roasted it so hard. But it's like, yo, okay, this is really good. They have a spell where they can do that. So I'm looking for my margin of how I can pull that off.
I think a lot of times, I mean, there's been, I've talked about this with some of my friends. There was my favorite band has a record that came out in 2015. I listened to one song. I really didn't listen to the record. It was just on my phone. My husband died. I get in the car and the song comes on and it's talking about how this man is facing death, circling the wall, facing the wall of death, circling the wall of death. And I remember sitting there, I had just taken him off life support and it was just like, oh, wow. Okay. And all these songs suddenly hit that were like, okay, they have meaning to them. And I think that's where you have to look at. Sometimes we can listen to something and go, this is pure crap. But then 10 years later, or 5 years later, or 4 years later, whatever, the next day, suddenly it's like, wow, okay. There was a movie I could not stand. One of my friends invited me over to watch a bootleg of, yes, I hate to admit that, a bootleg of Moulin Rouge. And I thought to myself, what crap is this? And maybe it was because it was a bootleg. So then my roommate at the time, when it came out at Blockbuster about 6 months later or so, because back then it was a lot longer, she gets it. And I'm like, oh gosh, this is pure crap. You're not going to like it. I watched the second time, like, wow, this is pretty good, except for the two songs. Now it's one of my favorite movies.
I just had that exact same experience with Umbrella Academy. The first time I watched like the first couple of episodes, I was like, I'm not getting into this. And that was the first season when the first season came out. So I'm at a point now, I'm writing and I'm trying to figure stuff out. So like TV is playing all day. So I've gone through everything on all streaming platforms. I was like, okay, third season came out. I'm gonna just binge all of them. It's not that I grew to like it. I just went through it and I finished it. It was a lot better than I gave it credit. And I'm glad that I watched it. I still stick by, I don't like a lot of it, but I got through it and it changed my mind a lot.
It's a different show. I've watched it. The new season I haven't seen yet. It's coming out though, but I just finished watching Obi-Wan.
How did you like it? I was waiting for it to finish so I didn't have to go week by week.
It's good. I think it tied everything up nicely. I think there was a powerful woman who you didn't know who she was necessarily. And I'm not going to go into detail because I don't want to go into spoilers, but you'll recognize it because she is very powerful. But the thing is, her character does evolve and they do tie things up and and then I started watching
I watched
A New
one
Hope.
clip from it.
And
you started watching what?
I started watching A New Hope, Star Wars, the original Star Wars. Okay. So I was like, okay, but then I had a problem. Because, and I've watched Star Wars, I can't tell you how many times. And as a kid, before it came out on video, my dad would pick me up and go, where do you want to go? I'm like, let's go see Star Wars. So it was like every weekend we go see Star Wars. And I remember, back then it didn't mean anything, but now thinking about it, it's like, how come Darth Vader, when he has Princess Leia there, when he captures Princess Leia, how come he doesn't sense that there's a problem with the Force or that this is his daughter?
How come Luke didn't realize that was his sister? Nobody stopped that from happening. This is my 100% belief. I have always thought this. I feel like when they made the first Star Wars, they did not expect all this to happen. So they put stuff in there. And then when they made the second one, it was like, okay, we can do this. And then third one, it's like, okay, we can change this. We can do this. I don't feel like they had a master plan because a lot of stuff just started turning into plot holes throughout it.
Well, Lucas always contended that he had a vision for 9 movies, that he had 9 movies intact. I'm like, okay, great. I didn't need to know the three, although Darth Maul, I will give him credit for Darth Maul. I like Darth Maul. But
I like Darth
the,
Maul.
the other three, it was kind of like, you could have
Oh, so you like
taken.
the original, not the prequels?
I'm not a fan of the prequels,
I like the prequels way more than I like the first three.
but you got to remember this. Star Wars came out the same year my parents split. So that was like my saving grace. That was my distraction, my peace. So I like those movies way better than the other three.
I I didn't get all the hype of Star Wars, so I sat down. I think this is when the last movie came out, so like not too long ago,
Mm-hmm.
and I went through all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched them in order. So I watched the prequels first. I'm like, okay, having a good time. I like these movies. Then I got to the original Star Wars movie, and I was just like, this is mid. I can't. This is not holding my attention at all. I'm fighting my way through this.
Well, and I have to say, they went back and stuck stuff in there that shouldn't be in there. That wasn't
Like
in the
what?
original. Like when Han is going to the Millennium Falcon for the first time, and Jabba is there, squiggling around and talking to Han. That was not in the original movie. That was added in, like in the 90s. That was added in when they re-released them.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, there's several things that were added in, and it's like the way that the planet blew up and there was a ring. That was all added in. None of that was in there.
Well, I like the prequels more than I like even the newest ones.
Really?
The new three just didn't hit for me.
See,
That was another one where I feel like they started stuff but didn't go into it. Like, I think his name John, the black dude. He had a lightsaber. They kind of went into like, okay, he might be a Jedi and stuff. Didn't really cash in on it. I just watched an interview with them when he was talking about like he has a line where he's like, they fly now, and Oscar Isaac, he goes, they fly now, and they was joking on that, and he was like picking on like they don't keep up with the stuff because like in the Clone Wars they did fly, and he knew all this information. And it's like they didn't have that in the movie. They kind of like plot holed it.
Well, here's the part of the problem, and not that we meant to get on a Star Wars topic, but that was a plot hole because yes, why is he able to wield the lightsaber? Why is he able to handle it and do this? But then Han did cut the tauntaun in half to put Luke in there with the lightsaber, so maybe that's plausible. Okay, whatever. But there was a whole after Star Wars came out. There's books that have been coming out, and there was one guy who was really licensed by Lucas for a long time, Timothy Zahn, to write books. And there was a character called Mara Jade who was actually the Emperor's right hand, but she was on the hunt for Luke Skywalker, and they ended up falling in love, blah, blah, blah. But she was a badass, total badass Jedi. Well, when Disney decided when Lucas sold Star Wars to Disney, all that stuff became out the door. No longer. There's a Mara Jade action figure that they released, but
they do that a ton of times, and because I am so deep into Marvel and DC, those kind of comics. I am deep. So a lot of the stuff they do in the movies, it's like they dropped the ball. I don't know if you into those, but like Moon Knight, they dropped the ball so hard.
See, I never saw Moonlight. I mean, I don't. All I saw was the Disney production. So I saw your comment on Twitter about that, and I was just kind of like, I didn't think it was that bad. But then I'm not hardcore into
that show. When they first announced it, like years before, I had so much hype built. It was so big for me because he's one of my favorite ones. Like I really liked him, and just the idea of him being like a superhero that has, like schizophrenia and all this stuff. Like, I thought that was like crazy cool. I love the comic books and everything. It is nothing like the comic books.
No.
It really just threw me all the way up. Same with the new one, Miss Marvel dropped the ball.
I mean, see, that's the thing. I'm not hardcore into it. So for the general populace, it's okay. It's passable. People, we'll watch it. It's fine.
I rate it the same way. Every time I watch a movie with my girlfriend, we rate it. So when it's Marvel or DC movies, I'll rate it, and then she'll say, okay, now rate it as you you don't know the comic books. Then I have a different rating. So Miss Marvel, not knowing the comic books, I'll give it like a 9.
Okay.
Knowing the comic books, I'm giving it like a 5.
Okay, fair enough. What about the new Doctor Strange movie?
Knowing the comic books, I give it like an 8. Not knowing the comic books, I give it about a 9, or like still an 8 or a 9. I think it was solid. It was just it was plot holes in that too. It was a lot of plot holes in that. Not even just from knowing the comic books, but just from other movies.
Mhm.
But that's kind of like I think that was an L that they had to take because it was supposed to come out before Spider-Man, but it didn't because of COVID. So because of that, I feel like they just had plot holes and was like, we're just gonna leave this here.
So what do you, I have to ask, and I know this can be a silly answer or a silly question. So are you excited about Thor?
I listen, not to be vulgar, when I say I have a hard on for this movie, I from the moment they announced it, I knew this was going to be the best movie of all time. Like I just know. I have not seen it yet, but I
Yeah.
just know this is going to be the best Marvel movie. I said that since they announced it. When they first announced the movie, I said this is going to be the best. Just because first Chris Hemsworth, I feel like has found himself as an actor and as a person.
Mhm.
I feel like he's a great looking guy. He's figured out what works for him, like looks wise, personality wise, his whole little, funny, sarcastic. He has like little Ryan Reynolds personality. He's figured himself out for the character of Thor. Taika Waititi, I feel like the dude's crazy. I feel like he is. I love him as a person. Everything he's in, he's crazy. He has an interview. They're asking him questions about other movies, and he's like, "I have no idea what that's about." And this is like movies he's in. He's in the new Buzz Lightyear, and they're asking him questions. He's like, "What's my name in it?" Like he's just doing stuff, and I feel like he's so fun, creative that I have so much faith in this movie. Or
Well,
Ragnarok is my favorite Marvel movie.
I was going to say that is one of that movie Ragnarok is one of my favorites, and I have to admit the first time we watched Thor, it was just kind of like
The
I'm not
first
sure about
Thor,
that. Yeah, the first Thor was just kind of
the first two I did not like. He was my least favorite character, and then it was like he was my least favorite. Then it was then around the time like Ragnarok came out, then Captain America was my least favorite, and then I kind of picked up a little bit more, but I think they still hold the top, top few numbers for me.
and overweight Thor was amusing. I mean, that's the whole thing.
Yeah,
He's got a, and then when you look at
that
this,
hurt
now
me. When they first showed him in the movies, I remember looking over and I thought about Godfather. I was like, they massacred my boy. I was like, why did he do him like this? I
I
wasn't
mean,
even mad at if he had the same body type.
but and then I want to say Ragnarok, the way Ragnarok starts, where he's on the chain and he's hanging and he's like spinning around. It's like, wait, let me come back around.
That was good.
What do you think about the way Disney has handled some of the other characters like Loki? There's his series. What did you think about that? What did you think about the Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
Um, I think they're all good if you look at them piece by piece. I think I've had the problem of like all their movies, you have to look at as like a grand scheme of things. So with these, I can't look at them that way. And I think they've been individually good. I did not like WandaVision. I feel like it was just a little bit boring and slow. But even like with Miss Marvel, I feel like some stuff just isn't for me. For like WandaVision was them trying to get a more female audience. Miss Marvel is them trying to get a younger audience, younger female audience. So I understand it's not for me. But Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I thought it was really well done. I think it was some racial parts where like they kind of drove it home a little too hard. Like they emphasized a little too hard on parts where it wasn't always needed, but it was still really good. And I get the point they was trying to make, and I appreciate the point they was trying to make. Um, Loki, I thought Loki was really good. I like the direction that started. Like as soon as they got into like the multiverse kind of stuff, like well, starting it, I think Ragnarok really showed them that they can start loosening up. So like Ant-Man and the Wasp and all these colorful movies.
Mm-hmm.
Loki was one of those that really branched off where it's like it's colorful, it's funny. I feel like they wasn't trying too hard.
Right.
I think that was the problem with a lot of old movies. Like the first Thor, the second Thor, they took him so seriously, trying to be like, oh, he's a Greek mythology guy, yada. Too much science and stuff. They just took it way too serious. So,
Well,
like, as Marvel progressed, they've really loosened up. They're more comic now.
unlike DC. Uh,
Yeah.
I mean, and that's one thing it's kind of intriguing because the CW has canceled most of their DC shows now.
CW, listen, when I tell you the CW has no idea what they're doing, I hate them so much. As a nerd, I hate them so much. Flash, I feel like that shouldn't have been made. I have so much hate for all of those shows. I've met so many people
Legends
who
of
live by them
Tomorrow.
shows.
I like
No,
Legends of Tomorrow.
Can't give it.
Sorry.
You know, they made a new show. I hope they cancel it before it even comes out. The trailer itself has so much hate for it. It's called Gotham Knights.
Okay, yeah.
Did you see the trailer?
No, I haven't seen the trailer, but I was watching. I watched Batwoman.
Did you like Batwoman?
It was TV. It wasn't that it was. I mean, I watched it. I was amused. Was it earth shaking? No. Was it? Did I like that they changed? I mean, was the second season better than the first with the change? I didn't mind it.
Okay, my bias is for the CW shows. I feel like, for one, it's not even their fault. I don't like what they do with the costumes. I feel like that's just a budgeting issue, but they go way too hard on leather. Way too hard on leather. I hate it. Two, okay, every drama show has this pattern of, why didn't you tell me? I know this now. I'm going to blackmail you. Those are the two things that they have. Somebody didn't tell somebody something, and somebody's blackmailing them. Those shows go a little way too heavy on that. Shows like, matter of fact, another thing that makes me mad on those shows, they rely too much on the team. Flash in the comic book is by himself. They gave him like 30 members to like back him up. He has people training him and stuff. Not my thing.
Green Arrow, same thing. I mean, He had the whole team. And you know, you're talking about the blackmailing thing. That goes back to Empire. How many times was Lucius blackmailing somebody, or somebody was blackmailing him?
The first couple seasons, it was like, you know what, this is just enough drama. And then after that, it was like, okay, we out of ideas. Let's just go for it. Let's just wing it.
Well, and let's talk about another controversial DC movie that is now, I think, is going to have to be redone partially because apparently Amber Heard has been pulled out, which is Aquaman. What did you think of the first Aquaman?
I thought it was so boring.
Yeah.
I thought it was so boring.
I mean,
you cannot make water fun. He should not have his own movie. He should just be like how Marvel does Hulk. That's how they should have handled Aquaman. I get it. Jason Momoa is an attractive man. He should not be by himself.
But let's be honest here. The Hulk is dry amusement. He's amusing.
They massacred him. They ruined Hulk. Hulk is nothing like what they try to show him as. Look, that's really disappointing too.
I grew up watching the original Hulk from the 1970s, early 80s.
Lou Ferrigno by himself was more threatening than whatever they have been doing with Mark Ruffalo. I love him. I like what they do with him. It's just like, this ain't it. Ain't it. Hulk is not. And then if you notice, he gets smaller every single movie. He's gonna be my size by the next one.
And then they're gonna have She-Hulk.
I'm excited for She-Hulk. She-Hulk, the trailer, it looks just like how she is in the comic book. She's like not Daredevil. She's like Deadpool. She talks to the camera. She's funny.
That they're supposedly gonna make another Deadpool movie.
Yep, they're dragging their feet, but it's being done. I think that's gonna be really good. I have a lot of faith in it, just because that's another one. They don't take themselves seriously, and they actually pay attention to the source material. I mean, that's my main problem with CW. They don't look at the source material. They say, "Oh, Batman." Okay, now this. That, like, Zack Snyder, he's on my hate list. I hate that man with a passion. He ruined an entire franchise just because he wanted to be different.
Well, I mean, when you look at how many incarnations and how many different directors Batman has had, and I can go back to the 60s, 70s, TV show that I used to watch as a kid. That was pure camp. It didn't take itself seriously, and people still talk about it today. But in Tim Burton, he was over the top with his. And then we got into the weirdness of Batman becoming slowly but surely very serious, which is okay.
Yeah. So like with a lot of that, it's kind of like it started to base itself off the comic books and the cartoons. So it's kind of like, okay, I see where you're coming from. So where it's at now, where it's like it is so serious. That makes sense for a Batman movie. But the way Zack Snyder was doing stuff, Zack Snyder, I feel like he grabbed these characters and was like, he just made his own thing. Nothing he did was from the comic book. Nothing. And then like the joke that everybody made where it was like he didn't kill Superman because their mom have the same name. I know people who've killed each other because they have the same first name. It's like it didn't hit for me.
What'd you think of Gotham?
Gotham, the CW show?
No. The Fox show. There was a show called Gotham with Jada Pinkett, actually.
It was on Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah.
Right off the bat, I did not watch it because it's Batman as a teenager, but all the villains are already out there. That's not how that happened.
It wasn't bad. There was a guy who played.
I'm too nerdy.
The guy who played the Penguin was pretty good. I waited till after it was already all done, and then I started watching it.
Yeah, because like the guy that played the Joker, I really like him. I like the way he played the Joker. Mm-hmm. It's just I like continuity. I like it. Like if you're gonna go off of this, I like it to be off this. It's like if they made a movie off the Bible and then gave Jesus, like a mullet. It's just like, hey, come on, stick to the story. It's just don't make your own interpretation of stuff that's already right there.
Oh, vampire novels were like that. Twilight. You've never had a sparkling vampire until Twilight came around.
Twilight had me in the chokehold for a second. And I was really mad because like I picked on it. I picked on people who watched it. I was like, nah, I'm not even getting into it. It was all the girls. I think I was in middle school when it came out, and all the girls were crazy about it. And I remember being at Family Video that was going out of business, and the first 2 Twilight movies were out, and I got them. It was like $3, and I watched them. And I was like, hey, okay. I got to the second one, fully straight kid, but I was like, yo, this Taylor Lautner dude, sharp boy, yeah, looking good. Okay, yeah. I'm Team Jacob.
Yeah.
The third, fourth movie came out. I was rocking with it. It was really weird, but I was in it.
So, who's your favorite actor to play Batman?
It was Ben Affleck, but Robert Pattinson did a really good job.
Okay.
I know I say that even though I don't like Zack Snyder. It's just Ben Affleck did a really good job playing it with what he had to work with. He really looks like the character. I think he really did a good job. But Robert Pattinson, he really surprised me. I did not have faith in that movie at all. I did not have faith in it.
Who's your favorite Joker?
This is another wild one because I always lose people on this one. Jared Leto.
I think I'm not gonna discount that one. My whole point with that is you didn't see him enough. He was in there with a blink of the eye. I mean, it was like you could have used him more.
I contradict myself because everything I like about him is what I don't like that everybody else is doing. I feel like it was like a really wild interpretation of him. He was like, but he's the only one that has been accurately crazy. Like Heath Ledger did a good job, but he wasn't like ha 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 ha. He wasn't laughing. He wasn't crazy. Jared Leto was crazy that whole time. I didn't like that he had like a whole grill and all these tattoos and stuff, but I liked it for him. It was just like, okay, I know that they're not paying attention to the source material. I like what he's doing with it.
That's all you can.
The Joker movie I thought was really good, but I think Jared Leto had him beat.
I have not seen the Joker movie.
What?
I know.
That's a good movie.
I know.
It's a good movie, and I don't even look at it as like a comic book movie. I really don't. I can't watch it like that. I watch it as just like it is a really great cinematic movie.
I haven't gone to the movies a lot. Usually what happens is I'll rent it at the library and then I forget what I'm going to rent. And then, so that's why I haven't seen it yet.
What you should do is get the Regal Movie Pass. When I tell you, I go to the movies like 3 or 4 times a week.
I would say that would be awesome, but I live out right now until I move. Now, maybe when I move, I'll do that. But right now, I think the closest movie theater is about 25 miles away.
Ooh, I'm like I have like less than 5 minutes, and that's what I go all the
Yeah.
time.
See, where I used to live, that was the case, but now it's like, no, it's got to be about 25 miles away, so about a 40-minute drive, and
Mm.
maybe not that far, but it is what it is.
I've been
So
debating all week. Like, I don't know if I want to go see Elvis. I've been fighting, saying like I might go if I get bored enough. If it's nothing else to do, I might go see it. But Minions and Thor, that's my week. I am excited for both of those movies.
I heard that Elvis is really good.
I heard it too, but I wasn't sure because I don't know. It just didn't. I don't know Elvis like that to want to go see a movie about him.
I get I got well, I didn't get in trouble. I could have gotten in trouble. We went to Graceland, and back in the let's see, this was 1994. They still had the walking tour. Now, did you ever see Pee-wee's Big Adventure?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You remember Tina, the tour guide with the Alamo?
Mm-hmm.
We basically had a tour guide like that. And we're standing in the foyer downstairs. They don't let you go upstairs at certain sections of the house. And she's proceeding to tell us how Elvis died upstairs. She doesn't go into detail about him dying on the John, but she tells us how he dies upstairs. I don't remember what my friend said. She said something that made me start laughing. And this guy that was there with us in this group looked at me and says, "You are lucky there are no diehard people here, because you'd be strung up from the ceiling with this chandelier." Like, okay. Now, mind you, you walk through this, and there's this picture of Elvis or Lisa Marie and Priscilla hanging on the wall. Now, mind you, I am a child of the 70s, I was 10 years old, I think, when Elvis died. And we knew that he was dating another woman, that him and Priscilla were done, and he was with somebody else and with several other people. And this tour guide proceeds to tell us in her Tennessee drawl that Elvis loved Lisa Marie and Priscilla very much, and that they had the perfect marriage, and blah, 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 blah. Okay, sure. I mean, it was very created to make it seem very home-like. Now, these are things
Mm-hmm.
that are not the one thing they've taken out from what one of my other friends told me that had recently gone in the last 5 years. When we went, there was actually still Lisa Marie's swing set there, okay, in the backyard. And the slide had a big old hole in the middle of it because Elvis used to do shotgun practice at the slide in the swing set. Yeah. So that's no longer there apparently, but at the time,
I understand.
yeah. So it was just kind of like they painted this whole thing. The jungle room had like green shag carpet on the walls, and oh yes, and this was the other thing that was just laugh riot. They have Dr. Pepper all over the place and Gatorade and water bottles, because you couldn't go in the rooms. They were just kind of displayed out. And
Mm-hmm.
and the tour guide's like, "Elvis never drank alcohol. Elvis only drank it." Like, really? Really? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He's one of those people. I guess I just didn't get into him to have like to understand his fandom, but like him, who else? I know Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson, I see it. Prince, I see it. But just like a lot, Queen, I see it. It's a lot of artists where it's just like I understand they're diehard fans. Some I just never understood. But like even all the people I'm a diehard fan of, who like I just lose myself in when I'm around, are people that nobody care about or know. Like there's a I suppose he's on again. I could not hold a conversation with him because I was fanning out so hard. I met him in person and I was just like, "Hey, I'm the dude from we can talk." I was like losing myself because it's like I have been a fan of this dude since I was in the sixth grade. So now when I met him, I'm like 22, 23, and it's like you've been like the majority of my life, dude. Like I love you and your music. And anytime I say, "Hey, Spose," they're like, "Who?" And I say, "I'm awesome." And they're just like, "I don't know who that is." And then I feel small. Or like,
It's
not
a,
my favorite rapper is Vince Staples. Not a lot of people know Vince Staples. I
I,
cried at his concert.
I've had some groups that people do not know who they are, and they're like, "Who's that?" I'm like, "Don't worry about it." I had that moment. I mean, I've met my
It's
bass.
embarrassing.
I've met my bass idol and had no problem talking to him. I met a couple of my bass idols, had no problem talking to him. I've met other celebrities, had no problem talking to him. I would say my biggest fangirl moment came when I met Donnie and Marie. I was working
Mm,
a television producing convention, and when I grew up, they had their own TV show, a variety show,
hmm.
and they had their own Barbie dolls, which I still own to this day. And so I get to meet them at this convention, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I have your Barbie dolls and that. I was such a freaking idiot. And yes, I even had the same birthday as Marie Osmond. So it was just like, yeah, we share the same birth. I was just a freaking moron. And of course, then I also met Chuck Woolery and Bob Eubanks, and I was really, I'm sure this made them feel really old because I'm like, I used to watch you when I was a little kid. Not the most nicest thing in the
I
world, but
know
it's
those feelings. It's so like instant cringe, and you just like, just don't acknowledge it for me, please.
yeah. And I mean, I met, like I said, I've met other people that I've admired, and it's like I can have a conversation with them, no problem, no nerves or anything. But certain people, I guess, from the little when you're a little kid, it just comes out, and you're like, oh my gosh, what the hell did I just say?
I went to the Call Me If You Get Lost tour. That's Tyler the Creator's tour. And Vince Staples, he's like the second person to perform. They're like, his openers. And even on like interviews, Vince looks at himself as the opener for Tyler. So like when I was there, Vince Staples, while he was performing, I was rapping every single word. I had his merch on. I got like, I don't ever really buy merch from people. I bought his merch. I was just going crazy out there. And so many people were looking at me like, you know the words to this? Like the first half of the show was Tizo Touchdown, who I'm a really big fan of, and Vince Staples. And the next two acts, the biggest acts were Callie, Chris, and Tyler. Everybody came for them. Nobody came for who I came for. So I was the only one performing their songs, and it was just so embarrassing. Even with John, meeting John, and John Oates is like, Hall & Oates. He's this
Mm-hmm.
huge guy versus meeting Spose, who not a lot of people know. I was way more nervous about meeting Spose. I had a way deeper conversation with John just because it was like I know who you are, but I just didn't have your fandom. Whereas like I love you now because I know you and I worked with you, but like nah, you didn't. I didn't. I knew some songs, but I didn't dive deep beforehand. And when I got so comfortable with him, I remember we were sitting in the studio and I was like, how much money you got? I was so because every time he talks like in these big numbers. He's like, oh, we're doing this show and this, that, and this. There's gonna be this many people there. And I'm thinking, like, if you have this many people come and it's this much a ticket, this much for the cheapest ticket, and you have this many, I'm doing the math the entire time. And he's like, yeah, we split and we do this, we pay this. And so I'm always like, if you make this much a show, you have this many shows. I just got tired of like doing the math. I was like, how much money you got?
But
And
here's
he just laughed, and I just knew when he laughed, I was like, way more than I'll ever have.
well, true, but there you got to weigh some of those options. I mean, let's put this all out there. You know,
Mm-hmm.
there's a band called NXS, which I know most likely you don't know. Um, they filmed a concert at Wembley Stadium, and the band joked that they made enough to pay their champagne tab at the hotel because they had all the cameras, they had all the production and everything else. So a show like that, these shows that are, that are videoed, there's so much extra cost that goes in it. And then
Mm-hmm.
let's talk about a real concert. Okay, so and I'm not schooling you. I'm doing this for the home viewing audience or listening audience. You have the let's the one major caveat right off the bat is liability insurance. You're
Mm-hmm.
going to have that. And that's going to be a huge, huge bill. Then you're going to have your crew. You're going to have your lights. You're going to have your catering. You're going to have, I mean, it's like the person that sits there and says, oh, well, yes, I'm sure he makes a lot of money because of his name and who he is. But when you start looking at it, it's like, just
I'm sure you're
because he
spending
has,
a lot too.
yeah,
Well, the
yeah.
second time I asked him how much he had, I didn't ask how much he had, I asked how much he worth because I've, this is probably just me and my little, South Carolina don't know no better. So, but we got in his car and his car showed us a satellite view of the car showing him how to back out and stuff. And I'm like, what? I didn't even know they had this technology now. Like the satellite is showing him in the parking spot, backing up, showing no cars around him. Wow. And I'm just like, is that for everybody? Or is that just like, is that special for you in this car? Is this car going to turn into a boat too? Like how much is you worth, man? I was like, I've never seen nothing like that.
It's going to start levitating as it backs up.
It was slow when he would slow down. Like, okay, like we was coming up on the light in the car, like, you know, started saying like how fast he should be going and giving him suggestions and stuff. And I'm like, this car is way too smart for me. This is way out of my net worth.
I drove, I want to say it was RAV4 or Highlander. I don't remember now, but it had the audit lane assist. And there's a place coming on this 2-lane road that divides into 4 lanes. And there's a median. Well, I'm planning on going in this lane. The car decides, no, we're going this way. I'm like, excuse me? No.
So I learned my lesson with these rich people cars.
No, not for you.
It's not for me. I did a movie like probably like 4 years ago now, and I had to drive 2 really expensive cars. And I had to learn how to drive them because they're not like driving regular cars. A Lamborghini is not like driving I didn't know that. So I got in the car and he told me, okay, you just pull up and you get out. How? I seen how to turn it on, but that took a second. And then all the buttons in the car and stuff, I did not know what I was doing. I couldn't do it.
My dad, when I was a kid, my dad used to work on Lambos and Ferraris and stuff. So, but that a Lamborghini in the 70s is not the Lamborghini of today.
There's a guy who gets like old cars, like an old Mustang, like an 03 Mustang, and he gets Lamborghini parts put on it to make it look like a Lamborghini. Mm-hmm. That's what I would do.
A kit car.
That's what I would do.
Speaking of Lambos and your favorite Batman, did you hear about his son? 10-year-old son was in a Lambo.
He backed it into, yes. I just saw that headline.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you keep seeing me messing around. I got a cat.
Oh, what's its name?
Homie.
Homie? Okay.
Yeah.
When did you get him?
It's a her.
Oh, her. Excuse me. When did you get her?
Don't mispronounce my cat.
I'm sorry.
I think I got her March 30th. May 30th.
Cool.
So she's fresh.
Very cool. Very cool. I have a cat and a dog, as some people have seen. So yes, we've gotten way off topic. So
we have not talked about music in a long time.
We talked about music in the beginning. I mean,
I'm not talking about my music. No, we're good. Well, I have nothing new.
I'm trying to think. I mean, for me, I've cut back on the podcast and I'm preparing to move and that's been my life. So
are you moving far or are you moving same area?
Oh, if I have my way, I'm moving across the country.
Us too. Like we want to move to San Francisco.
Okay.
But I think that's like a 3 or 4 year thing.
Well, when the timing is right, you'll figure it out and you'll do it.
Yeah. Well, even if not just San Francisco, we just want to move somewhere that's not South Carolina.
Understand.
I don't want to go to Walmart and see people I've seen in high school.
I get it. I live in a small town and I don't have a lot of friends here. Even though I had a shop for a little bit in town, I don't have a lot of friends. And I remember after my husband passed, this woman I barely knew who used to go to the beauty shop because I had an office space in a beauty shop. That was my shop. I'm in the parking lot loading my car and she's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry for you." And I'm like, "Excuse me?" She goes, "I heard about your husband. I'm sorry for your loss." And I'm just like, and she's not right next to me. She's like saying this really loud in the parking lot. And I'm just like, thanks. So yeah, I've had enough small town life for it now.
What I do, I don't accept it. Every time somebody say, "Hey," or "Hey, you're CerVon," or the worst of it all is, you're Sex Monkey Limo Driver? I say no. And then I pretend to get mad that they just assumed that I was another black guy. I do it every time. Unless they really catch me on something and I have to admit to, I'm not going to say I'm me. Even if they know it's me, I will just ride it out. I'm not, nah.
So any more stand-up coming?
No, I was supposed to be finishing tour. I did like a good bit of shows, and then I don't know we just had a big slowdown. I wasn't liking all the songs that I was doing. I wanted new stuff, and I think I've always done like, I have these sad songs, but like I have a lot more, upbeat songs now, but I just wanted a more of a festival vibe because we're going into a lot of festivals and I don't want to be the one slowing down shows. So I took a break. So I was doing both. So I was doing music and stand up. So I said start about music. So I have no shows until August. I have one festival, but I think I'm doing like 2 minutes of stand up and then I think it's 13 minutes of music. And then the next one is the I Voted Fest. I Voted Fest is probably my biggest show of the year. Trying to get people to vote. Everything going on right now has really like had me motivated. Like we have to be in charge of what we do and put people in charge that are mindful of what we want.
Right. And I mean, we don't normally talk about politics, but stuff that has come out today about how certain people wanted to be taken over to the riots, the Capitol building, and got mad because they wouldn't be taken. And where are we headed if we don't vote and we don't get out there and do something? Where are we headed? I mean,
it's a crazy time. I not to go into politics. It's just like it's a weird time when you don't really know what your future is. So
no, and I'm
pushing it.
I mean, somebody, and the thing is that some people are putting up there. We'll talk about Roe v. Wade for a second, if you don't mind. And people are putting up, well, maybe I should have a life. If this is a life, then maybe I should have a life insurance policy on it. And if I miscarry, well, this woman's like, I miscarried 6 times, so maybe I'd be a millionaire by now. And maybe that the person should start having to pay child support right off the bat. I mean, it's so crazy to think that this is being rolled back, and why is it happening? And then to sit there and go, well, we're going to look at other rights that need to be rolled back. Why? Why? Because
and it's all stems from I never say I'm pro this, I'm pro that, I'm this side or that side. I always say I am pro mind your business, because whatever you do fits your life and your circumstances. So I can't put my day-to-day expenses, my day-to-day thinking, my day-to-day life on this person, because they might not have that same thing, those same things going on. So with me, I am 100% a Christian. I go to church. I'm a youth leader. I ride. I'm a Christian, but I don't try to convert people. Somebody asks me questions about it, I'm happy to have a conversation and talk politics or anything, because I'm not trying to convert you or change your mind. I'm just telling you my side. I don't like that they're doing all of this because they're doing it from a Christian standpoint, which means they're trying to make, if you're a Muslim, you shouldn't have to follow my rules. And vice versa.
What they're trying to do is turn us into a theocracy, which is what we got away from when we left England. We did not want it. We wanted separation of church and state. And yet here they are basically going, no, they belong together. No, because everybody should be able to, freedom of religion is freedom of everybody's religion, not just yours.
And I can't get a stamp. I feel like Christians are so, don't tell me about your religion. Don't do this. Don't try to convert me, this, that, and this. I'm happy where I am. And then as soon as I get that back on them, they just don't comprehend it. And I have seen it firsthand with just talking to, I had a really, really cool encounter with a lady who was openly racist. She was telling me like, hey, this, that, and this is what I believe, but it wasn't in an aggressive way. Like she wasn't being rude. She just told me her thoughts. So when I was telling her my thoughts, it was a really cool conversation. Like I'm not, putting her down at all, because even with racism, you have every right to not like a certain race if that's what you want to do, as long as you're not, acting on it. Like do what
you're
you do.
You're entitled to your opinions.
Exactly. So if she doesn't like me for my race, that is 100% okay. I will fight for her right to not like me as a race. Just don't put your hands on me. Don't do nothing towards me. We're good. So I had a great conversation with her, and she's a Christian lady. Her telling me, I don't think women should be able to do this, this, that, and this, that, and this, because God said this, and in the Bible says this, that, and this, and we're a free state, and we're doing this, and okay, well, what if you're Muslim? Well, they're here in our country, and they should follow our rules, that, and this, but this is a freedom of religion, meaning everybody's a different religion. Not you can't, count everybody for that. So what if they told you need to start going to mass? You need to start doing this. You need to start doing this. Well, they don't have no right because this is a free country and this, that, and this, that, and this. They don't get the opposite side of it.
No,
They
they
only
don't.
pay attention to that one side. And I don't know. I feel like
No.
Christianity has just took such a hard right turn. I want to say left turn, but hard right turn. And it's so distasteful. I feel like God wouldn't like it. I don't feel like God would appreciate it.
Well, what gets me is when you have the good Christian that starts screaming about Sharia law, but yet you're putting us right into that position now.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't see it. They don't see it. And it's like, okay, what are you going to do?
There's a senator that openly said, like, okay, now go for Plessy versus Ferguson. Let's go for this and go for that. And it's like, bro, that's about segregation. That's about this. That's a racial thing. Like,
well, and what's really, Clarence Thomas is the one that said this, and the one he didn't go after was Love, which is the one that would affect him totally because he's married to a white woman. So, but he's gonna sit there. It's like, I look at this, and I'm gonna be blunt, and we'll end up having to put this as explicit. But a lot of this mentality is, I got mine. Fuck you. I don't care about you.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I just took this crazy, like, different mindset the past few months. I have a strong dislike of people who just refuse to accept their root. So I don't step on anybody. You do your thing. And sometimes, I know people like, okay, Black people for instance. So he is a Black man, but he has fully abandoned his culture for a culture that's not appreciating him. He's a Geechee man. That means he basically talks with a Caribbean accent. That's why he doesn't talk, because he's embarrassed of that. He's embarrassed of his roots when he should be embracing it because of who he is, where he came from, and getting into that position. That's a very powerful thing. But he's embarrassed because he's surrounded by a bunch of people who do have a lot of racist thoughts and a lot of racist actions, and they pick on him for that. They pick on him for that, make him feel small, even though he's in this strong, powerful position. They're making him feel small. So because of that, he's agreeing to their politics that fit their people and what goes for them. So it doesn't always have to be about a Black and a white thing, but sometimes it is.
Yeah.
So him being a Black man, even if he's married to a white woman, whatever, this cat is going crazy over here.
I see that.
Be that as it may, that is so okay. My ex, I love her to death, white woman. She fought for my rights. I fight for her rights. It was a time I was getting detained for no reason. I was at a beach washing my hands at the wrong resort that didn't allow people that wasn't a member there. And instead of telling me, hey, stop this, that, and this cop just came, like a security guard there came and tried to like take me to the ground. Thankfully, I'm bigger and he just couldn't, grab me like that. But seeing the way she showed out and stuff like that, it was great. It's not about race. Him as a Black man being with a white woman and still saying, hey, we should stop this. We should stop this. Go after this. Go for this. We should stop same sex, even though they have that in their family. You're going against your people. If you have a child, a niece, or somebody in your family that's gay, you're turning your back on them. Mm-hmm. So even as a Christian, no matter what I disagree with you on, I feel like you have your say. You empire. Jamal said it best. I quote this all the time. Your sin ain't better than my sin. So I'm pro do whatever you want to do, as long as it don't affect me. Well, I feel like he has turned his back on everybody. That's why I don't appreciate him.
I think that's where it has to be. It's like, if we're supposed to be a government for the people, by the people. And the fact is, we're not a government for the people. We're a government by the corporations at this point. Mm-hmm. And we've changed it from bribery to, excuse me, that word is not used, lobbying. And then we have these think tanks creating these bills who have their own agendas. And it's just, there's no real, the people that it matters, that it affects, they get nothing out of this because we don't have the money to buy our politicians. We don't.
I don't even see some stuff like this, Roe v. Wade, I really don't see like why does it bother you so much? You
Me
know? No,
or
I'm just saying
them?
like people like in general, because
Well,
people not I'm not saying
well,
pro or against. I'm just saying people do stuff that you would disagree with every day. So, okay, my mom, I'm not gonna, step on my mom, but my mom, she's, from a generation, she's a Christian. So when we first started watching Empire and Jamal be kissing the dude, she's like, oh, I'm not gonna watch this. She changed the channel. She has every right to change the channel. She's not gonna go make no hate speech about them, anything. She changed the channel. But now, she's grown. She sees a lot. She has gay friends now. Her mindset has changed. Even if your mindset don't change, every day you see stuff you do not like, but
right.
you have no choice but to go about your business. So I hate that they are saying like, I'm gonna go about my business, but I'm gonna stop you from doing it anyway.
Well, and there's
I
two
hate
things.
the unfairness of it.
There's two things I want to say here too. Just because abortion becomes illegal in certain states, I bet you if you have enough money, you can still get one. Because guess what? Before it became illegal, that's exactly what happened. People had abortions. If you could afford it, it was healthy. If you didn't afford it, you had a back alley abortion, and you were lucky if you survived. Secondly, this isn't really an issue when they sit there and scream about the babies, the poor little babies that are being killed. And this is where I say you're not pro-life, you're pro-birth. Because
Mm-hmm.
here's the thing, you don't want to take care of the kid after it comes out of the womb. You don't want to help with formula. You don't want to help with food stamps. You don't want to help with education. You don't want to help with daycare. And if you don't want to help with raising that kid, then what? Then all of a sudden it's a drain on society. You can't have it both ways. You are either pro-life and want to help the baby all the way through its life, or you're pro-birth.
I've been working with this nonprofit called FGI, Fostering Great Ideas. They focus on foster care. So
Mm-hmm.
within the past like 5 months or so, I have seen what foster care actually looks like. And seeing that, it's like it's no way you can be like, we need to have all these kids that, and this, even if they don't want to keep the baby, they need to have it. If they're so pro-birth, so many, it's not most, a lot of kids don't actually go to foster homes. They go to group homes.
Mm-hmm.
Group homes are jails. They have phases, whereas like phase one is you're going to class, you're eating your breakfast, and then you go straight to phase three a lot of times, which is like go straight to your room. You don't have a TV, you're just sitting in there, and you have like, you might have Uno or something you can play with your people you're in the same room with, but you don't have like no, a lot of times you don't have no phone, you don't have no game system, you're just sitting in your room. So they can't go outside. There's one broad step in Greenville. They're fenced in. Every door has 3 different locks on it. Why are you locking them in here? If this is like, this isn't their decision.
Right. And that only traumatizes them more. And
Exactly. They're in prison, of
yeah,
course.
I mean, it's that's the thing. Nobody looks at these bigger pictures. They look at the narrow, and they don't see that what is happening to these kids that get stuck in the system. They're not being taken care of. They're not having a normal life, and then that creates more resentment for them. So, I just it's good to be passionate about something, but there's no need to be in anybody else's business. And just like the stop our cops becoming militarized, that was bad,
I got you.
militarized. But the fact is that's been going on for a while. And why does any police force need a tank? Why?
These are like regular people. They
Mm-hmm.
didn't go to like no long-term school. They don't have no like realistic psych evaluations. These are regular people who are just a little bit crazy out here too. They're taking out their aggression on people.
Oh, we
I don't
had
know
a
if you've seen the clip of the cop. This is in downtown Greenville. This is 10 miles away from me. Downtown Greenville at the protest. This cop just ran and full on like tackled a girl down to the point she rolled, and then took an old woman and an old man down.
I saw some in
Not provoked.
I saw some in LA they were going at it. And here's the thing. I go back to in New Orleans, when I lived down there back in 95, there was a police officer who was working over OT at a Chinese restaurant. And the Chinese restaurant got robbed. He was murdered. The owners were murdered. And the daughter was hiding in the freezer and the cooler at the time. So she saw everything. Well, the officer's partner came back after the call came out with this other kid. Well, take that back. The kid didn't come because the kid, ultimately what happens in the investigation is she and this kid came in, robbed the place, killed the cop, killed the two owners. The daughter saw it all. When they start digging into this woman cop, let's see. Well, they found her father buried under the house, and she had been collecting his social security checks. She really would not have passed the psych eval. And this cop his wife was expecting another kid, and he already had 2 kids. So they don't check the background necessarily. You want to be a cop? Okay. Or look at the shooting in Texas. Oh, we didn't go in because we were scared, but we should arm the teachers. Really? You have vest on, you have tactical gear.
Their whole slogan is protect and serve. And then when they got checked, their thing is nobody said we had to protect. Nobody said we had to do this. Nobody said we had to do that. That's not our job. What are you for?
Yeah, you signed up to put your life on the line. Just like my father's retired fireman. My dad signed up to run into a burning building. Nobody forced him to do that. He signed up to it. And I had a friend whose dad was a cop during the Chicago riots. And she said that her dad would sit in the back of a paddy wagon playing cards while all that was going on back in the 60s. So if you want to be a police officer, then be a police officer. And I'm not saying it's an easy job. It's not. But don't sit there and tackle people for no reason, and don't get your aggression out. And that's part of the problem. We have so much aggression now.
Mm-hmm. If I was to be a cop, I know I would be a dirty one. I'd be a good cop, but I'd be a dirty cop. Like if I pull you over and you want to throw me like $30, then we can make this go away. But I'm not gonna be tackling nobody at no protest.
I had a cop ask me in Missouri to get out of my car and come sit in the front seat of his. I did not do anything. Well, he didn't get that far because I was a nervous wreck going, oh my gosh, I was crying. I had never had a speeding ticket in my life. And I was just babbling incessantly. And I'm like, when was the first time you got a ticket? So I think he realized I was just too airy-fairy that he wasn't going to get anything. But one of my friends is like, he got you in the front seat of the car to give him something to get you out of that ticket. And I'm like,
I would have did it. I just had this conversation the other day. Girls y'all get so many freedoms. There's so many opportunities I would have taken as a girl.
Wait. I was doing 102. Yeah. And I was coming back from New Orleans to Chicago, and he clocked me at, I think it was 102. He's like, I should take you to jail. He's like, you know what? I'll write your ticket for like 83 miles an hour. So you don't even have to come back for court. You just have to pay the ticket. I'm like, okay. But I was crying. I didn't get that option.
I went to jail. My first ticket, my second ticket, I went to jail. I had to be in jail for 3 days. I was going 90 in a 25.
Holy shit. I was at least going in I think it was 75 mile an hour zone. What the hell were you doing?
We have a strip in downtown Fountain Inn that has 4 lights, and they were all yellow. And I was like, well, I could beat this. And at the very end of it on Main Street, it's a police department. So when I got to that last one, they lit me up and I had to go to jail.
How old were you?
I think I was like 18 or 19.
Okay, I understand that. I understand the thought process. When you're that young, you don't. Oh, yeah, okay. Because, I mean, let's be honest here. Let's be realistic. If the cop station is right there at the end of the 4th light, survey says some cop is going to be sitting there going, oh, this will be easy money.
I had to do 3 days in jail only because they arrested me on a Thursday. On Thursday, it might have been Friday.
Most likely a Friday, and then the arraignment you wouldn't have been arraigned until Monday.
So I had to do those 3 days, and then it was a $2,500 ticket.
My ticket wasn't. My ticket was 160. But I mean,
Then
here's the
again, I
thing.
wasn't a young, pretty girl.
Well, I was in my 30s. I was in my 30s. So I wasn't this young, pretty girl. I was in my 30s. I guess I still was attractive, but the whole fact of the matter was I couldn't get to my registration because that was in a glove box and I had boxes all in my car. So I didn't even have the registration for my car to provide to him. So yeah, I should have gotten in trouble more so. Proof of insurance was in the glove box once again that I could not get to. And I was such a nervous wreck. He may have asked for a Hummer. He was a young cop. He was a good-looking cop, but he wasn't going to get a Hummer from me. And I was too much of a nervous wreck to even think about that. I didn't even think about it. I was just, oh my god, I got busted.
It's just the flattery of you got an ass too. Nobody asked me for stuff.
Well, that's maybe because maybe if it was a woman cop, you might. The next speeding ticket I got was a woman cop, and here's this one.
I say this to Kay all the time. I've been praying for a woman cop.
Wait,
I got a woman. Test my abilities.
I was going to an event and I was speeding, yes, and I was doing 73 and a 55, and on a 2-lane road, and this cop makes a U-turn to come get me, and so she proceeds to tell me after. And yes, I'm a nervous wreck. I don't do well with cops. I don't like cops.
Me either.
Sorry to say that. But anyway, that always make me nervous. But she looks at me and she says, you were doing 73 to 55. I'm like, I'm sorry. She goes, do you realize how dangerous that is? After all was said and done, I looked at my husband and goes, did she realize how dangerous it was to make a U-turn to come after me? I mean, that's a little bit more dangerous than coming to give me, than giving me a speeding ticket. Correct?
The one time a cop did a U-turn on me, the way they did the U-turn, it was cars behind them. I turned in the neighborhood, took a couple of turns. I got away. I beat them. They couldn't get me.
Nice. No, there was no way.
I'm scared of cops. When I was like, I had to be 22, 23, and I was teaching. I was teaching at this like academy, like this private school, and I got kind of like beat up a little bit by a cop. Ever since, I just kind of like, I can't go around. They freak me out like really bad. Like I have a problem with authority now. Like every time I'm around, I kind of like shut down and I'm just like trying to make sure I'm speaking correctly, like make sure there's no mess ups, because he said I had an attitude. It wasn't that I had an attitude. He asked me if I worked there and I said, yes, sir. Like, here's my badge. And he took that as me being sarcastic, but like, I can never tell my tone. So I was like, okay, maybe he's right. He was like, don't be sarcastic, that and this. I was like, I'm not trying to, yada, yada. Here's my badge, that and this. And then he like kind of pushed me on the wall and he called my manager. It was like a whole thing. So like after that, then being put on the ground, all that kind of stuff, I don't fool with it. I don't take a chance.
But see, this is the thing. You have a reason to be. You have a legitimate reason to be. I mean, I have a friend who she told her son wanted a red sports car, and she's like, oh hell no, you're not getting a red sports car. She's like, you're not white, you're not getting that. You're gonna get this. That
with Kay tried to do the same thing. Me and Kay, we got in like really bad wrecks in the past like 2 months. She got in a really bad wreck, and then a month later I got in a really bad wreck, and I got a new car. She was trying to get a new car, and she tried to get a red little sports car. I was like, nah, man, they're gonna come after you.
Yeah. And I mean, and for me, my husband's like, well, why are you nervous around cops? I'm like, I just don't trust them. And then slowly but surely, all these bad cop stories started coming out more and more about how aggressive they've been with people. And he was just like, oh, I said, see, now you understand. I said, I was just already hyped up for it. So
I just wish that, like, if I could shape shift, every time I got like pulled over, I would be the finest girl out here. And I just know I get away with it. I have a friend, Michaela, she was just telling me the other day how she passed one of her classes because the whole semester her teacher was older man. He was like flirting with her, and he just kept like, hinting that when the semester's over, they can finally, do stuff. And she played along with it the entire time. And then once the, class ended, she went her own way. And I was like, I pray for opportunity like that. I don't even need it. If somebody flirted with me just like, hey, I can get you a discount at the Subway, I'm going to take it. Nobody finds me attractive enough for stuff like that. That's what I hate the most. Like I just want to be flattered. I want to desire one solid time, and I'll be good. This is like the worst case scenario. But if Harvey Weinstein was like, hey, you need this part, I'm taking it. I am taking it.
Oh, that's bad. That's bad. I mean, yes, as a woman, you do. Okay, here. A couple of years
being
ago,
forced into it versus being asked into it are two different things.
Well, no. Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but I will say
Yeah.
this. It also depends on where you live because when I lived in Indiana, I lived in a small town and I also went to Indianapolis. If I had a small flat tire in a small town, oh, ma'am, let me get that. You have two kids, let me get that for you. Now, mind you, my stepfather said, you want to learn how to drive, you're going to learn how to work in a car. So I knew how to
Mm-hmm.
change tire, change my oil, everything. So yes, I played the dumb little woman and let them do it. Moved in, go up to Indianapolis. Oh, you got a flat tire? Help yourself. Here, if I go out to I guess it was about 6 months ago, I went to check the air in my tires at the gas station. I had two cars pull up. Let me help you with that. Let me help you with that. Okay, if you really want to, go ahead. I'm not going to stop you, but I could do it. I mean, it's
I had
flattering, I guess, but in a way, you know.
I I had my ex Rebecca. She was her her tire went out. You can tell something happened to the tire, and it pulled her to the side of the road. And conveniently, somebody like not too far away who had like she's leaving this store,
Mm-hmm.
so the tire popped like a mile or so away from the store. And as soon as it happened, there's a car not too far behind her, like, hey, let me help you, this, that, and this. And as soon as they like, hey, step out the car, this, that, and this, it's just kind of like it lined up in a bad way. And then
Mm-hmm.
they're like in the middle of nowhere at night, this, that, and this. So while all this is going on, he's like, let me fix the tire. And like, instead of going right to fix the tire, he's like talking to her and like, well, you can sit over here if you want to sit in my car, this, that, and this, that. And like the way everything's going, mind you, I'm on the phone, so I'm hearing all of it. And I'm like, this don't sound right, this, that, and this. And luckily, me being on the way, because I was going to meet her at her house and she's close to this Food Lion. I'm like, I'm there, like, well, hey, I can take over. I got it, this, that, and this. And it was at a point where, like, the way the guy looked, it was like, hey, just go ahead and get in my car. We're just gonna leave your car and we'll come back here.
Wow.
So, me and the girl, I see y'all don't have all the best stuff, but I would
We
take a lot
also
of the flattery.
we have some shady crap too. I mean, that's the thing about being a woman. It's like you have some good stuff, but you also have some bad stuff, and that's the thing. I mean, it's the same as true for you. Being an African American male, you have some hard times that I don't know the experience of. So being able to find common ground and actually, and you've been on the show before, and talk. I mean, I still remember you talking about how you want to be an old man.
I'm
Black
there
Snake
now.
Moan.
I am finally there now. I am so bitter with everybody. I have finally reached that point in life.
You don't seem bitter. You don't
Oh,
seem bitter.
I am so bitter. I am such a hateful person. I am such a hateful person.
Well, I hate to tell you, but you don't come across that way, at least here. So you're off.
Well,
You're off your mark, dude.
my upstairs neighbors, they smoke weed, and I've already gave them warnings. Like, hey, if I smell it in my vent again, I'm gonna have to report y'all. That's me. I'm that guy. I had a guy that kept taking up two parking spots. I wrote him a very well worded note, put it on his windshield. It hasn't happened again.
Well, but see, that's not being bitter. Bitter to me is you hate everybody in the whole damn world.
I do. I just don't. I show it. I have to be nice.
Okay, so you come in, you put you put nice CerVon on for
Yeah,
the show. I get it.
I have
I
to be
get it.
nice. You right now.
I get it. I get it.
I I mean, all the situations where I want to be nice force me to be mean because you don't know how people are gonna react. So like, if I see you on the side of the road and I see you're struggling to put the tire on, I'm not gonna stop because I feel like if I do stop, I'm gonna get an attitude. If I do stop, like, oh, just because I'm a woman, you think I can't do this, that, and this? Oh, I actually have a boyfriend. I didn't ask you. I don't want to go through any of that. So I
I
just
understand.
don't.
No, I
I just
understand.
don't.
I get it.
Unless I'm like, at a gas station, somebody say, hey, I'm having this. Can you help me with this, that, and this? Then maybe.
I get it. I do. I get it.
Yeah, times have
And I
changed too
mean,
much.
I try to. If somebody wants to offer me help, most of the time I'm like, okay, unless I get a really shady, hinky vibe from them, and then I'm like, nope, got it, thank you, goodbye.
I
Otherwise,
say that back because I used to get that if I shave, then I can pass for a girl. So I might have to because then I get a lot more with that. I was at QT like probably 3 or 4 months ago when I had last shaved. And
mhm.
this guy, he told me, he was like, you are so pretty. And I had to put on my deepest voice and go, thank you.
You know, you could rock. Um, Oh, what is her name on Empire? Becky.
Becky.
Get you a wig. Could be Becky. Becky was the assistant. She was the little larger girl. She had a lot of attitude. She was friends with Jamal.
I have to be so mindful of stuff like that because, like, anytime I go out with Kay, like, we go to clubs and stuff like that, dudes are not afraid to approach her in front of me because they always think I'm a gay friend. So I have to be so mindful of all of that kind of stuff. Even when she posts me,
one that was suggesting it.
See, but that's me by myself. I have to be mindful of stuff like that because I look too close to either a girl or gay. Because especially my nails are painted, so it's like I have to be. Even when she posts me and we're together, dudes, she's had dudes message her to get to me. So it's just like you got to be mindful of that little stuff.
Well, as always, it's been a blast. We've been talking for about an hour and a half, so
we get distracted all the time.
Well, you said you're kind of not working on music right now, so we had free reign to talk about whatever.
Yeah, that's good. That was good.
So I thank you for coming on.
I'm happy to have.
So, like I said, we went all over the place, and CerVon and I always have a good conversation, and it's like sitting down with a friend. And even though we have very different backgrounds, we can still find some common ground to talk about. And I think that's important for all of us, is to find common ground. And if you have creative passion, follow it, even though you got to realize that sometimes you're going to get stuck, and that's okay. It's okay to take a break for a bit and then go back to it. So anyway, I thank you as always for tuning in. If you've missed an episode of the podcast, you can catch it at thebetter2podcast.com. All our social media links are there. And if you have a question, comment, or concern, or would like to be a guest on the show, please reach out to Donna, Dauna, at better2podcast.com. That's Donna at better2podcast.com. As always, our sound is done by Rich Zai of Third Ear Audio. So I thank you for tuning in, and I hope you have a wonderful day, evening, weekend, whenever you are listening or watching. And I'll catch you next time, guys. Bye. The Better 2 podcast is mixed, edited, and produced by Rich Zai of Third Ear Audio Productions.